Hey y'all, welcome back to Ava's Curly Girl Lessons. I'm posting in my car today because outside look like who knows what's going to happen weather-wise. It's the weekend, so family's home and I just need a quiet setting. As you saw on the title, today's video is my hair journey and I'm going to start from when I was pretty young. I don't have many pictures and I definitely have an explanation for that. I wasn't allowed to have a cell phone, or my parents, let me just say, my parents did not get my sister or I phones when we were younger. So I had to wait until I was 18 years old to get my first phone. So my photos are limited and I didn't know about backing up phones and all that jazz. So hopefully the photos I provide is enough for you to get a good idea of what I'm talking about. But if that's not enough, me sharing with you verbally my hair journey should do it. So from a very young age, I had a full head of hair when I was 2 years old, and it was super thick, and I definitely was tender-headed when I was younger. And my mom, she usually tried to outsource the people who would braid or do our hair because her detangling my hair was the worst. I mean, the worst. Like, I have video footage of me crying my eyes out while my mom's trying to comb my hair at like the age of, I don't know, I might have been like 4 years old or something. I was definitely young. And moving forward just a little bit, as I got older, she would have neighbors do my hair. And whenever extra finances were available, I would get my hair done outside of the home. My dad did my hair once. I feel like that was a really good experience, which is interesting because when my dad did my hair, it did not hurt. I don't know what that's about. When my dad did my hair, it did not hurt. Anytime my mom did my hair, it was the worst. I'm just like, oh, why? You know? When I turned 9 years old, I taught myself how to braid, and I would braid my Barbie doll's hair. After I did that, my mom was like, do you want to start doing your own hair? And so naturally, after I did my hair, my mom kind of put me in charge of doing my little sister's hair too. I'm gonna start by saying when I was younger, it was cute. When I was young, it was fun playing with Barbies, doing my sister's hair and my hair. But as I got older, it became more of a chore almost. Like, I didn't necessarily enjoy doing hair. I just did it whenever it needed to be done. So it was more of like necessity more than like a passion of mine. And so as I got older, I kind of was like, I'm not trying to deal with detangling my hair. So this is another thing. I did realize when I was 9 that I am actually tender-headed because my mom's side of the family is heavy-handed. So I got it honest, and I would be hurting my own head when I was trying to detangle my hair. So I kind of understood a little bit, even though I was still trying to be as patient and graceful as I could when it came to detangling. And by the time I turned 11, honestly, I wanted to know what it was like for my hair to be straight. So I asked my mom, I'm like, Mom, I don't want nothing else for my birthday. I just want you to let me get a perm. So it was the summer. I remember it was the summer. I was 11 going into 12. and my mom let me get a perm. It was the first time I had any chemicals applied to my scalp, where I gotten it professionally straightened, and I wanted to make sure that the perm would really take. So they were like, you gotta let her know when it starts to burn so she can rinse it out and wash your hair. Y'all know I started to feel the tingling. I'm like, I can be strong, I can hold on, because I really wanted it to look nice. So I was like, I don't have to rush. I'm like, I can hold on a little longer. So when it started to burn, and I was like, okay, I think, I waited a little extra because, I wanted it to come out perfect. This was my first experience and I didn't want to have any disappointing results. So my mom let me get that perm. I was so excited. It looked beautiful once it was styled and the ends were trimmed and everything. But the only downside is me waiting that long. I've been told stories from people sometime after I got my perm that, oh, their perms didn't take and all these different things. And I'm just in my head like, how interesting is that? I'm just like, so that perm must have been on my head a very long time, because whenever I would wash my hair, there was no slight curl at all. Like, it was almost like it was just completely straight. When I washed my hair for the following 2 to 3 months, that perm had took real good, and I was happy. I thought that's how it was supposed to turn out, was bone straight. And I was just like, easy hair day. When I wash my hair, all I gotta do is wash it, condition it, blow dry it, I'm done, And so it was very easy for those 3 months. And then I naturally started to get new growth, so I would touch up the scalp with like a hot comb just to make it blend with the other hair and everything like that. And that was my experience with chemicals. And so from there, as my hair transitioned, it took a while for my hair to grow out. I want to say I was 12 years old, 11 going into 12. So I was 12 years old when I had that perm. And that perm definitely lasted almost a full year. My hair took a very long time growing after I got it permed. And it wasn't until I was 14, I had just turned 14, going into the school year of 9th grade, that I was just like, these two textures are insane. Like the ends of my hair would just look completely wild compared to my natural thick texture. And so I ended up cutting my ends off. It was probably Christmas break. It was Christmas break. I remember, because we were home from school. I was just like, Mom, I can't do it anymore. I was like, is it okay if I cut my ends? So I did my big chop in the 9th grade. I was 14 years old, and I was comfortable with the length that it was, because dealing with the two different hair textures was just too difficult for me. And so when I cut my hair, literally when I cut my hair, it was like right here, all around, right at the bottom of my jaw. It was extremely, extremely short. And it's probably, when I did the big chop, it was the shortest it has ever been. And I actually have photos of when I have photos. I'm going to share my school photos from when I was in high school. Because for some reason, I still have my badges. And I'm like, I can definitely use those for the video. But naturally, because my hair was already short, I said, let me cut some bangs. It ain't nothing to cut some bangs. So that's exactly what I did. I got bangs cut in 9th grade, and they were so cute. Until they started to make my forehead break out. It's so weird. I would get bangs, and this is not the first time I got them. it was cool. Bangs took a while to grow out, you know, to get at least right under my cheekbone to where I kind of had just like a cute little swoop or whatever. And I started going natural. In ninth grade, I started to watch videos on YouTube of the naturalistas who had grown their hair out to tailbone length. I think Chime, if you are familiar, her name is Chime, and she was definitely hair inspiration for me because I'd never witnessed Black women having long, thick hair. So I was just like, wow, like her hair is so beautiful, it's so long, and it looked like my hair. So I was like, so it is possible, and that kind of inspired me to want longer hair. After getting that perm and having that experience, I felt like that one time was good enough for me. But as I got older, I did start to think about what it would be like to dye my hair. And that's because I grew up with my cousin getting like rinses, and I was like, oh, her hair color is so cute. And I was just like, they seem like fun colors. And my mom didn't allow dye. She didn't allow my hair to get dyed. It wasn't until I got older, like 17, senior in high school, that she was a little more lenient. She said it was okay if I did decide to do that. But I truly did my research. I did my research and I was so adamant about wanting longer hair that I just realized like maybe dyeing my hair is not something I actually want. That if I do want the look of a different color, I would just resort to like a sew-in or maybe a wig that was like blonde or a certain color I want it to be. And so after doing research, and I even revisited dyeing my hair even in my like later teen years when I was like 19, 18. But it was nothing that took, like, I desired longer hair naturally more than I wanted to play around with any added chemicals. So I focused on natural styling, and of course I experienced what most of you other girlies have experienced when it comes to heat damage, because when I was only styling my straight hair, I felt insecure about my hair length, especially right after I did the big chop. So I would straighten my hair and apply a lot of heat with the pressing comb and things like that. And I definitely had some lessons learned there, but it wasn't until I turned maybe 17 or 18 years old. Nope, I was 18 years old. I was 18 years old when I said, you know what? I'm not applying any more heat to my hair. And when I said no heat, I wasn't talking about blow dryer. I was referring to pressing, because I was so used to applying flat irons or the pressing comb to my hair just until my hair got longer. And then when it got longer, I experienced heat damage. But my journey with transitioning from the heat damage to cutting all that off was kind of lengthy. I want to say that took close to about 4 years. I was 18 years old though when I decided to go completely no heat or no pressing comb, no flat irons. I would blow dry it when I got French braids or things like that, but I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm gonna kind of move it along. And so I experienced going heatless or just no flat iron, no pressing comb until I was about 20. maybe. I was either 20 or 21, and then I straightened my hair, cut all the dead ends off. But I got it feathered. I wanted it to be layered so that it could look as long as it could, because I just felt like it took me so long to get to that point. And it might have been, how old was I? I'm going to fast forward a bit more, because I had started, after cutting off all of the dead ends, I had started just straightening my hair once a year just to get my ends clipped. I would try to stay away from heated styles. I would do a lot of like braids and twists with my natural hair, and like some extra like kinkle hair and stuff like that. Or I would get my hair French braided and wear a lot of protective styling. And then when faux locks got in style, I also did that. And I continue to do my own hair for the most part when it comes to a lot of these styles. Just because it was more affordable, and you know, I'd rather spend my money on like clothes at the time, or going out to eat with friends, or girl dates and things like that. Like go out with my girls, go to clubs, things like that. So I used my money in other ways at that age. So I tried to do what I could when it came to my hair or any other personal hygiene, like waxing and stuff like that. And when the pandemic hit in 2020, that was a really big point. I feel like it was a very significant point in my life as it pertains to my hair, because I decided to go completely like heatless once again, where I wasn't straightening my hair not even once a year. I waited 3 years. So from 2020 into 2023, I would blow dry my hair 3 times a year to do like my protective styling that I like to last like 2 to 3 months. In between that, I would do wash and goes, twist outs, braid outs. I did Bantu knots one time. And I have photos. You guys can see the photos. And I really wanted to focus on what my hair would look like if I didn't focus on hair growth, if I didn't focus on anything other than retaining length. I wanted to minimize how much heat I allowed my hair to be exposed to, and I focused on deeply hydrating my hair throughout the styles. And I'll explain. Whenever I did like braids with extensions, or Senegalese twist, or any like faux locks, whenever I got halfway down with doing my hair, I would apply a ton of leave-in conditioner, and then I would coat that with a ton of oil to lock that in. So anytime I took my hair out, I would still feel my hands would get really crazy, because I would be able to feel the amount of moisture that had gotten restored when I initially installed my hair. I was really big on that. And there are times when I would keep a style for a long time, and I would want to wash my scalp and cleanse my scalp. I would do that, and then I would still apply a great deal of leave-in conditioner towards the area where I knew my hair was located, just to restore any moisture that might have got pulled out from washing it. So now today, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why, but it seems like right now my hair is kind of at like a weird standstill. you guys saw the photo that I posted. Just did you just seen where I got my hair straightened and ends clipped and everything? It was about bra strap length. But right now, once achieving that in 2023, my goal these past couple years and now even today is tailbone length. I am so like, I want tailbone length hair because if I'm being honest, the only time it'll look like it's tailbone length is if I were to straighten it. But naturally, you'll see on my page that when I like do a wash and go or a defined twist out or something like that, my hair still falls like still pretty short. A nice length for some, but just based off of my goals, I just want it to be somewhere else. So I'm going to not focus on my hair growth, and I'm going to probably just focus on doing all the things I know I'm supposed to do when it comes to deep hydrating treatments, making sure that my scalp is cleansed after when I wash it, that moisture is put back into it, that I try to do low retention styles. That way I have minimum breakage. At the end of the day, you know, hair sheds like anyone, so I could care less about its natural process, but I'm definitely going to focus on doing all the things I need to. That way I can retain length while growing my hair out to tailbone length. So now you guys know my hair goal, and I did a length check maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and I'm gonna post that separately. I never shared it because I had just blow dried my hair, I threw on some makeup because I was gonna be rushing out to go to work, and I ended up recording I think another video, and I never got around to like posting the footage. So it's still in my phone. I'm like, I'm gonna save this for another time where I'll post like my length check, because I actually measure my hair by the inches. That way you can know for sure where it's sitting. So that is today's video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I tried to incorporate as many pictures as I could, but that's my hair journey for all of you who may want to know going forward as I share my hair tutorials with you and things like that. And you know my goals. I am going to try to abstain from using even blow dryers and heat altogether, because this style that I have right now, I've done flat twist off of freshly washed hair before, and there are some other styles that I would really like to try that I can do that don't require blow drying your hair beforehand. So I'm gonna keep track of how often I blow dry my hair. I'm just gonna keep you guys posted with any updates on this journey. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this natural hair journey, but until next time, everyone, be well.